Sir, your son gave me this shirt yesterday.
I'm so sorry for your loss. Let me take him away from here.
Oliver Carter, beloved son, 2019 to 2024. James stared at the photograph sealed into stone, his son's bright smile. That rainbow-striped shirt with red, yellow, blue, and green, the same shirt Oliver wore on his last birthday. Happy birthday, champ, James whispered, voice rough. You'd be 6 years old today. His throat felt tight. He hadn't cried in months. Crying didn't bring Oliver back. Nothing did. James was one of the richest men in the state. Tech genius. Self-made millionaire at 32. But all that money couldn't stop a drunk driver from running a red light last year. One crash. One moment. One tiny rainbow shirt soaked in blood. His wife left 6 months later. I can't live with a ghost, she'd said. You're here, but you're not really here anymore. James knelt to place the roses on the grave. His hand shook slightly as he arranged them. That's when he heard it. Footsteps. Small, quick ones. Hello. A little boy stood 3 feet away. Maybe 5 years old. Dark curly hair. Big brown eyes. Skinny arms and legs. But that wasn't what made James freeze. The boy was wearing Oliver's shirt. The exact same rainbow-striped shirt. Same colors. Same tiny rip near the bottom that happened when Oliver caught on a fence. James's heart stopped. What were you doing here? The little boy didn't look scared. He looked right at James, then at the gravestone. Sir, he said softly, your son gave me this shirt yesterday. The world tilted. What did you say? The boy pointed at Oliver's smiling photograph. Him, the happy boy in the picture. He gave it to me. That's impossible. James snapped. Where did you really get that shirt? Who told you to come here? The child blinked. Nobody told me, sir. He did. James's voice cracked. Stop it. Stop lying. My son is... He couldn't finish the word dead. Where's your mother? He demanded. Scanning the area. Is this some kind of joke? The boy shook his head slowly. I'm not lying, sir. He really talked to me. James's perfect suit suddenly felt too tight. Listen carefully, he said. My son died last year. He can't give you anything. Now tell me the truth. Where did you get that shirt? The boy looked down at the rainbow stripes. From a box at the church. My mama said people donate clothes there. James's mind clicked after Oliver died. His housekeeper had boxed up all his clothes. Someone must have donated them. But then the boy added quietly, he's the one who told me which shirt to take. Stop saying that. James shouted. A bird flew from a nearby tree. The little boy's eyes watered. He said you'd be angry first, the boy whispered. He said you stopped smiling after he left. James's chest tightened. What's your name? Eli. Who told you these things? He did, Eli said, pointing again. He talks to me, in my dreams, but they feel real. James rubbed his forehead. You're just a kid with a big imagination. Eli hesitated, then said something that froze James completely. He said you used to take him to the ice cream shop. You'd get chocolate, he'd get strawberry. You raced toy cars, and he always won because you let him. James stumbled backward. Nobody knew that. How? How do you know that? Because he told me, sir. He said you don't laugh anymore. He said you work all the time because you're scared to go home to the empty house. He wanted me to tell you something important. James knelt, eyes trembling. Tell me what? He said he's okay now. It doesn't hurt anymore. And he misses you so much. A tear slipped down James's cheek. You're lying. No, sir. Eli touched the gravestone gently. He showed me this place in my dream. He said you come every 7th day. He said you bring white roses because those were his favorite. Exactly right. Every word true. James sat down hard on the grass, shaking. This can't be happening. Eli, a woman's voice shouted. A young woman ran toward them, soap stains on her hands, worry in her eyes. I'm so sorry, sir. He ran off while I was working. Eli, what did I tell you? She noticed a gravestone and gasped. Oh my God, I'm sorry for your loss. My son didn't mean to bother you. James stood, still staring at the shirt. Where did he get that? The donation box at St. Peter's Church, she explained. He picked it out yesterday. He said, she hesitated. Said what? He said a boy in his dream told him to take it. I know it sounds crazy. Eli's dreams feel real to him. James swallowed hard. He didn't upset me. He said things nobody could know. Sir, I promise we're not trying to scam you, the woman said quickly. Eli just imagines things. Eli looked up. He's with you sometimes, sir. When you work late, he sits in the big chair and watches you. He wishes you come home and sleep. James's knees weakened. Oliver used to do that, sit in his office, quiet, pretending to work. I don't understand any of this, James whispered. Eli smiled, that same crooked grin Oliver had. He said, you'll understand when you're ready. And he said the box was an accident. He made sure I'd find the shirt. He said to give it to the boy who still needs a dad. Before James could speak, Eli's mother took his hand. We really have to go. Goodbye, sir, Eli said softly. He says he loves you, and he forgives you. James's heart seized. Forgives me? For what? For not being able to save him. He said it wasn't your fault. They walked away down the gravel path, leaving James standing alone among the graves, tears streaming down his face for the first time in a year. Not because Oliver was gone, but because maybe somehow Oliver had found a way to come back. That night, James couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the rainbow shirt. He heard Eli's voice. By 3 a.m., he gave up sitting in his silent office. The leather chair where Oliver used to sit waited in the corner. Are you really there, buddy? He whispered into the dark. No answer, only silence. By sunrise, James made a decision. He needed answers. He grabbed his car keys and drove. No driver, no assistant, just him. St. Peter's Church sat near the river, old and tired. Volunteers sorted boxes of donated clothes. James stepped out of his sleek car. People stared. Excuse me, he said to an older woman folding shirts. Where do these donations come from? She looked up, startled to see him. Oh, Mr. Carter. Mostly community donations, sir. Did you get a box recently? Children's clothes? From my estate. Her eyes softened. Yes, sir. 3 months ago. Your housekeeper called. We're all so sorry for your loss. James's chest ached. 3 months ago. The time he could barely function. Can I see what's left? Of course. Follow me. She led him to a storage room smelling of old fabric. In the corner sat a wooden crate, half full. James knelt and reached inside. Toy cars, a stuffed dinosaur, a paper rocket, then a photograph. Oliver, grinning wide, holding his red race car. On the back, in James's handwriting, never stop smiling, kiddo, even when daddy's too busy to play. James's hands trembled. God, I'm so sorry, he whispered. I was too busy, always too busy. He stayed there, clutching the photo. Finally, he stood. Do you know where the boy who took the rainbow shirt lives? The woman thought. His mother works at Rivera's laundromat, 2 blocks away. Sweet family. Hard times. James nodded, determination returning. He had to see them again. The morning sun cut through the city's smog as James parked across from Rivera's laundromat. The smell of detergent drifted into the air, mixing with exhaust fumes. Inside, the hum of spinning machines and the soft chatter of tired workers filled the room. Eli's mother stood behind the counter, folding clothes with weary precision. She didn't see him walk in at first. When she looked up, surprise flashed across her face. Mr. Carter? James removed his sunglasses. I needed to talk to you about your son. Her hands froze on a pile of laundry. Did something happen? No, nothing bad, he said quickly. I need to understand what he told me yesterday. She exhaled, cautious. Eli says a lot of things. Sometimes I can't tell if it's dreams or... James interrupted gently. It's not just dreams. He knew things about my son no one else could have known. Private things. Her eyes softened. I don't know what to tell you. Eli's had strange dreams since he was little. After his father left, He'd wake up crying, saying people talk to him, but never like this. James nodded. I don't believe in ghosts. I believe in logic. But this doesn't make sense. A bell jingled as the door opened. Eli bounded inside, his small face lighting up when he saw James. Hi, sir. Hey, champ. The word slipped out before James could stop it. Eli grinned wider. I told Mama you'd come, he said. You did? James asked, his pulse quickening. Uh-huh. He told me last night. Who did? Eli's smile faded. Oliver. He said you found his picture. The air left James's lungs. He told you that? Eli nodded solemnly. He said you were crying, but it made him happy because you still care. James swallowed hard. He's right. I do. The boy tilted his head. He also said it's time for you to smile again. Eli's mother knelt beside him. Eli, honey, maybe Mr. Carter needs some quiet time. But James shook his head. No, it's okay. He crouched to meet Eli's eyes. What else did he tell you? Eli glanced around, lowering his voice. He said we're supposed to go somewhere. Together. James frowned. Go where? To the lake, Eli whispered. He said you'd understand when we get there. The name hit James like a stone. Lake Meriden. That's where Oliver used to feed ducks every Sunday. Where he'd shouted, Race you to the water, Daddy, until his voice cracked. James stood, rubbing his face. This is insane. Sir? The woman asked. He turned to her. I'll take him, just for a few hours. I'll bring him right back. Her eyes widened. Mr. Carter, I promise. No harm. I just need to see what this means. If it's real. Eli tugged her hand. Mama, please. He said we have to go. She hesitated, then sighed. Be careful. He's all I have. I will, James said softly. An hour later, the two sat by the shimmering lake. The air was cool, rippling with the sound of ducks and distant laughter. James carried a paper bag with breadcrumbs. Just like he used to, Eli threw a piece into the water. Ducks rushed toward it, splashing. He used to come here a lot, huh? James nodded slowly. Yeah, every Sunday, rain or shine. He likes it here, Eli said simply. He's here now. James looked around. Where? Beside you, Eli whispered. He's smiling. James felt his chest tighten. The space beside him was empty, but suddenly the wind shifted, gentle and warm, brushing his cheek. A faint smell of strawberry ice cream drifted by. James froze. Oliver. Eli giggled. He says you still talk too much. A broken laugh escaped James's throat. He turned toward the lake. If you're really here, kiddo, give me a sign. Eli's small hand touched his arm. He said he already did. What do you mean? Eli pointed to the water. He sent me? James's heart thudded painfully. Why you? Because you needed a reason to believe again. James couldn't speak. He stared at the calm ripples on the surface of the lake, his reflection blending with the child's beside him. After a long silence, Eli said, He said you're supposed to help me now. James blinked. Help you how? Eli shrugged. He didn't say. Just that I'll need you soon. James exhaled. He always talked in riddles, too. They both laughed quietly. For a moment, James felt peace, something he hadn't felt since before the accident. Then his phone buzzed. His assistant's voice filled the air. Sir, we've been trying to reach you. The foundation meeting is starting. James stared at the phone, then at Eli. Tell him I'm busy, he said. Hanging up, Eli smiled. Oliver said you'd say that. James laughed softly. Did he now? They spent the afternoon feeding ducks and skipping stones. Eli told stories that sounded too wise for his age, stories about dreams, light, and laughter. Each one carried echoes of Oliver's spirit. When the sun began to sink, James walked him back to the laundromat. His mother was waiting outside, worry written all over her face. Everything okay? She asked quickly. James nodded. More than okay. Eli ran into her arms. Mama, it was real. He was there. She smiled weakly, brushing his hair. You have quite the imagination. James stepped closer. It wasn't imagination. Not all of it. She frowned. Mr. Carter. He handed her a card. Call me if you ever need anything. Seriously, anything. She looked at the embossed logo. Carter Innovations? Yes, I run it. Her eyes widened. Oh, I didn't realize. Please, take it, he said gently. And thank you for letting me borrow your son. She hesitated. You're welcome. As he turned to leave, Eli called out, He says thank you too, sir. James looked back. Tell him I'll be waiting. Always. That night, James stood by the lake again. The city lights reflected off the water. He held Oliver's photograph and whispered, If you sent that boy to me, I won't waste a second chance. The next day, he called his foundation director. We're expanding the children's program. Full funding. Scholarships, therapy, everything. Yes, sir. Any particular reason? Let's just say, James replied quietly, a little boy reminded me why I started in the first place. Later that week, a heavy rainstorm hit the city. Streets flooded. News alerts buzzed. Laundromat fire in Riverside District. James froze when he saw the footage flames tearing through Rivera's laundromat. He grabbed his coat and drove through the rain, heart pounding. Sirens wailed as firefighters battled the blaze. He ran toward the barricade. There was a woman and a child who worked here, he shouted. A firefighter stopped him. We pulled them out. The woman's okay. The boy, he hesitated. What about the boy? They're taking him to Mercy General. He's not breathing. James felt the world collapse. He sprinted to his car, ignoring the shouting officers, tires screeching through puddles. When he burst into the emergency room, he saw Eli on a gurney, small, pale-soaked, paramedics pressing his chest. Stay with me, kid, James whispered, voice breaking. You're not leaving too. Machines beeped wildly. Nurses shouted. James could only stand there, praying to a God he hadn't spoken to in years. Please, he begged, don't take him too. Then, for a moment, everything went silent. The monitor flatlined. The flatline sliced through the room like a blade. Nurses moved quickly, their hands steady, their voices urgent. Charge to 80, one shouted. A defibrillator's paddles clapped together with a rubber snap. James stood frozen, drenched in the rain, fingers trembling against his lips. He'd seen this scene before. Another small body, another frantic team, another helpless moment where money, power, and genius meant nothing at all. But this time, he refused to lose him. The doctor pressed the paddles to Eli's chest. Clear. Eli's small body jerked upward. The monitor flickered. Still flat. James's knees gave out. He grabbed the rail of the bed. Come on, kid, come on. His voice cracked. Oliver, if you're watching, don't let him go. Please, please. Charge to 120, the doctor called. They shocked him again. And again. Nothing. Eli's mother stood in the doorway, face white as paper, hands shaking violently. My baby, she whispered. My baby. A nurse wrapped an arm around her, keeping her upright. James felt like he was drowning. You can't take him, he whispered to the empty space beside the bed, the space where Eli had said Oliver stood. I can't do this twice. Please, please. The doctor lowered his hands. Time of. The monitor beeped. A single beep. Then another. Weak. Slow. But alive. He's back, a nurse shouted. Eli gasped a sharp, rattling inhale that filled the room with life. Maria collapsed into tears, covering her mouth, sobbing uncontrollably. James felt his legs wobble as relief crashed through him so violently it stole his breath. Eli's eyelids fluttered. He looked weak, pale, half-conscious. A small oxygen mask was placed on his face. But when his eyes opened fully, he turned his head slowly, painfully toward James. And he smiled, a small, crooked smile. Oliver's smile. James pressed both hands over his face, tears pouring freely. You scared me, buddy. Don't do that again. Eli lifted one trembling hand. James held it instantly, squeezing gently. He said, Eli whispered through the mask, voice barely audible. He said you weren't ready to lose another person. James swallowed hard. He was right. He held my hand, Eli murmured. In the fire, he said to follow the light. He said you'd be there when I woke up. James's heart twisted. I am. He said he had to go, but he wanted to say one more thing. James leaned close. Tell me, he said, thank you for loving me. James broke again, head bowed, forehead touching the mattress beside Eli's tiny hand. I always loved him, he whispered. I never stopped. And Eli's breathing hitched, but he kept talking, eyes locked on James with a strange, warm clarity. He said you're supposed to help us now. For real, not just today. Always. Maria stepped closer, tears still falling. Mr. Carter, we don't expect. James turned to her, his voice steadier than it had been in a year. I'm not helping because you expect it. He looked back at Eli. I'm helping because my son chose you, and because you saved me without even knowing you did. Maria covered her face again, shoulders trembling. The doctors moved in, checking vitals, adjusting machines. He's stable, the lead doctor said. He should recover fully, but he'll need rest, and someone with him for the next few days. James nodded. I'm not leaving. Maria whispered, Thank you, thank you. Hours passed. James stayed by Eli's bedside, holding his hand gently as the boy slept. Maria rested in a chair beside them, exhaustion finally forcing her eyes closed. Rain pattered softly against the hospital window, the storm outside finally calming. At nearly midnight, Eli stirred. Mr. James? James leaned forward. I'm here. Eli blinked slowly. He's gone now. James swallowed. Oliver. Eli nodded. He said he stayed longer than he was supposed to. He lifted a frail hand and touched James's wrist. He said, You're ready now. James's voice trembled. Ready for what? To live again. Those simple words broke something open inside James, something heavy that he carried for too long. For the first time since the accident, he finally let himself believe he could move forward without letting go of the child he loved. Eli continued softly. He said you're supposed to take care of us the way you want to take care of him. He smiled faintly. And he said I should let you win at racing cars sometimes. James laughed weakly. No chance. Eli giggled soft but real. The next morning, James made arrangements. He signed papers, cleared hospital bills, called contacts, pulled strings. He moved with a certainty he hadn't felt in months. By the end of the week, Maria and Eli no longer lived in the shelter. They lived in a small but warm apartment with bright windows, new furniture, and a framed rainbow shirt on the wall, a reminder of the miracle that had connected their lives. James visited every day, sometimes for dinner, sometimes to fix a squeaky drawer, sometimes just to sit on the couch while Eli showed him drawings. He didn't try to replace Oliver. He simply honored him. One quiet evening 3 months later, James tucked Eli into bed after reading the same Dragon and Knight story Oliver had loved. Maria watched from the doorway, smiling softly. Mr. James? Eli whispered. Yes, buddy. Eli pointed to the window. He was here tonight. James didn't turn. He didn't need to. What did he say? Eli smiled sleepily. He said he misses you, but he said he's happy now. James's throat tightened. Tell him I love him. I did, Eli whispered. He said he knows. As Eli drifted asleep, James stepped out onto the small balcony. The night sky shimmered with faint stars, the kind Oliver used to point at, asking, Do you think people we love live up there? James closed his eyes. Thank you, kiddo, he whispered into the soft breeze, for giving me a reason to keep going. A warm wind brushed his cheek, gentle, calm, familiar, and James knew he was heard. He knew he was forgiven. He knew he was finally free. If this story touched your heart, don't just scroll away. Click like, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe for more powerful stories that remind us love never really dies, it just finds a new way to live.